Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Dev Diary. Now recently my internet was down for like a whole day, which would normally be pretty excruciating to endure, but as a side effect it meant that I had a few hours freed up and decided it would be a great time to do some jamming, like game jamming, to do a game jam, you know. So if you dig jams or, just the video in general, be sure to leave a like. Also be sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss future videos. So admittedly, this project was entirely inspired by annoyances. It was annoying to not have internet for a day, so it just seemed fitting. And thus today's game was inspired by my personal experience playing team games, where I always get stuck playing tank or healer. Now, I mean, they're not terrible roles, but my average playtime for any team-based roster is like 90% tank or healer. So why not make a game where the only thing the player can do is heal others? So we've got a nice roster of allies that we'll be protecting today, starting with the Knight aka the tank with their little swipe attack. We've also got a ranger with a bow and arrow, a mage that fires 3 magic bolts like some kind of magical shotgun, and a pyro that creates a small flaming AoE circle of hot fire. On the enemy front, we've got similar classes. We've got a basic slime that'll do contact damage, a warrior that'll also hack and slash, an enemy archer who will also shoot some arrows, and finally an enemy mage that'll fire a single magic bolt. And thanks to the jam nature of this project, the CPU AI for both allies and enemies are absolutely bonkers. First, they will attempt to target an enemy foe. If they can't find one or all nearby foes are dispatched, they will target the player. When within attack range of their target, the combatant will switch to their attack phase, which is where they swipe or shoot based on their class, as one does when in an attack phase. Swipes and projectiles are universal and they are set to only damage units of opposing teams, because at some point there were plans for more than 2 teams. Anyway, defeated combatants will act one of 2 ways. Enemies will simply be destroyed and removed from the game. Eliminating all enemies is how the player team wins. However, allies will not be destroyed, and instead are set to their own unique downed state. Now in this state, the player's CPU allies cannot move or attack and must be revived by the player healing them. Kinda like if you enjoy my video, supporting me on Patreon will help me heal my old computer. You can also get access to exclusive content and downloads, and even early access to the weekly Dev Diary videos before they're released on YouTube. Like seriously, Microsoft won't stop reminding me that my computer can't upgrade to Windows 11, and it's like every month at this point, and it's starting to drive me nuts. Anyway, the player's healing ability is pretty straightforward. It's a circular area of effect type deal. No projectiles, just follow allies around and hope they'll stay in your radius of healing, which is finite by the way. As the player holds down spacebar, they will heal all allies within their radius, but will also deplete their heal magic meter. And as an aside, if the player wants to heal themselves, well, they can only do so by overhealing an ally, which will instead reflect the healing back onto the player. Now the combatants can also technically dodge, which included things like iframes, particles, and even a roll animation. But it seems at some point during development it broke and I never noticed until like right now. In fact, this version is really stripped down due to the whole game jam vibe. Like the original idea was to have each team try to take out the other's altar, but the way I went about the AI for this project was just bad from the start. Like horrible targeting logic, plus a broken state system. Yeah, in order to salvage the project it was just turned into an all-out battle royale, which is not even balanced in the slightest. Like each class was going to have its own specific elements, but I just didn't have time to add any of them. So instead, the game is absolute madness with everything smacking each other around like a big old game of pinball. And all the player can do is this dinky little healing AoE. And in a way, it somewhat summarizes my experience as a healer, chasing the rest of the team around as they scatter, trying to keep them alive while they dive face first into the mob of enemies like they're Rambo, and only they're not, and all their carelessness does is expose their poor support to the onslaught that just like ripped through them like tissue paper. Show your support some love, folks. Anyway, that's about what I was able to do with my free time while I had no internet. So what do you think? If we were able to do it right, does this idea have any legs? And hey, you know what? If you want to vent your own tales of woes as team healer, don't be afraid to share your thoughts and ideas in the comments. But with that said, brings us to the end of today's Dev Diary, so thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.